Before Rob49 had Birdman backing him, before Vulture Island was an anthem, before the cosigns and major stages, there was just a kid from New Orleans trying to survive. This is the real come up, the raw story. No industry polish, no viral shortcut. Today on Fake Famous, we're breaking down how Rob49 went from nursing school to running the trenches, and why he might be the future of Southern rap. If you're into deep dives on the culture, subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and let us know in the comments. When did you first hear Rob49? Alright, let's get into it. From the 4th and 9th Ward to Vulture Island, Rob49's story is everything they say about New Orleans. Raw, relentless, and rooted in survival. Born Robert Thomas, Rob grew up in the heart of the Calliope Projects, but his reach stretched across different zones, from the 4th Ward to the 9th Ward. That's where the name Rob49 comes from. It ain't a rap alias, it's a location stamp, a badge of honor. The numbers represent two hoods he's tied to, and for Rob, every time he says 49, he's repping for the pain, the loyalty, and the codes that raised him. Unlike most rappers, Rob didn't start with music. This wasn't a childhood dream he always chased. In fact, he was enrolled in nursing school. A future in scrubs, not stages, was the plan. He was on the straight path, trying to find stability in a world that rarely offered it. But life in New Orleans don't care about your plans, and Rob's story was never going to be clean cut. Hurricane Katrina hit when Rob was still young. If you're from the South, you already know. Katrina didn't just flood homes. It split families. It scattered people across states. It turned survivors into nomads. Rob was one of them. After the storm, he bounced between places, trying to find solid ground. That trauma stayed with him, and so did the mentality of figuring things out alone. The streets of New Orleans don't babysit. They either break you or harden you. Rob saw that early. He watched friends get caught up, watched others fade away. The nursing school dream, that was real. But it started to feel distant when the world around him was moving different. Rob had always been sharp. You can hear it in his bars. He was observant, strategic, and knew how to move. That's what made him dangerous when he finally did pick up a mic. Because when someone who understands pain, pressure, and survival gets their hands on a beat, it's no longer just music, it's therapy and testimony at the same time. He started rapping in 2019. No big cosign, no viral moment, just hunger. Rob was recording out of small home setups, pushing his music online, and relying on the people who actually knew him to spread it. And they did. Because when you from NOLA and you speak the truth, the city stands behind you. The early songs weren't flashy. They were stripped down and honest. Tracks like Krazy Man and Vulture weren't about making Billboard. They were about getting it off his chest. He wasn't trying to be the most lyrical. He was trying to tell his story the way New Orleans people talk. Direct, unfiltered, no gimmicks. His flow was different too. It wasn't heavily influenced by Atlanta or Houston. It had a bounce that felt unique to the city, kind of like how Juvenile had that offbeat but powerful delivery. Rob would pause mid-line just to make sure you felt what he said, then hit the next bar like a punch to the gut. What separated Rob early on was his ability to mix that street energy with clarity. You could understand every word. He wasn't mumbling, he wasn't hiding behind autotune. He was speaking in a voice you knew was real. And that caught people off guard, because here was this dude, young, tatted up, coming from a rough part of New Orleans, but speaking with precision and purpose. No fake persona. Just real talk, laced with pain and ambition. As his buzz grew, Rob started realizing he didn't need a major label. He had a city behind him, and more importantly, he had a sound that couldn't be boxed in. He started referring to his sound as vulture music, not because it feeds off the dead, but because it survives no matter what. Vultures don't hunt, they adapt, they wait, they observe, and they make something out of what's left. That's what Rob was doing with his life. Picking up the pieces, turning survival into soundtrack, his fashion, his interviews, his demeanor, it all screamed authenticity. You could tell he wasn't playing a character. He wasn't trying to be the next whoever. He was trying to be the first Rob49, and the city noticed. OGs started tapping in, producers started reaching out. Even though the industry hadn't fully caught on yet, New Orleans was already putting him in the conversation with legends. They saw the potential, and more importantly, they saw the hunger. This was deeper than rap. Rob wasn't just trying to get rich. He was trying to create a lane, a blueprint, a platform where other NOLA artists could break through again. Because truth be told, New Orleans hadn't had a mainstream rap breakout since the Cash Money and No Limit days. Rob was about to change that. But with all that momentum came pressure. Rob wasn't just carrying his name, he was carrying the reputation of 2 entire wards. And if you from the South, you already know, that type of weight is real. Still, Rob handled it like a vet. He didn't rush. He didn't flood the internet with mixtapes. He dropped when it made sense. He stayed in the studio. He moved smart. You never saw him chasing clout. He let the work speak. And it did. Tracks started hitting 1 million views. Local DJs were spinning his records before midnight. He started performing in cities outside Louisiana. The energy was building, slow, but undeniable. He was doing this without a major machine. No TikTok gimmicks, no controversy. Just bars, hustle, and consistency. That's rare, especially in an era where everyone's trying to go viral off drama. Rob was showing the industry something they'd forgotten, that the streets still matter, that being respected in your city is more important than being trending on Twitter. And by the time Birdman came around to co-sign him, Rob had already built the foundation. He wasn't discovered, he was validated. Birdman didn't make Rob, he just put a spotlight on what was already shining. And that's what makes this rise so real. Because Rob didn't come from a viral freestyle or a TikTok dance. He came from Calliope, from post-Katrina chaos, from nursing school classes by day and booth sessions at night. He didn't make a lane, he dug one. And as the city started chanting Vulture Island, as the industry started asking, who is this kid from the 49? Rob just kept doing what he'd been doing from the jump, telling his story, feeding his people, moving with purpose. This is the real NOLA energy. Rob49's rise didn't happen overnight. It started with raw tapes, local love, and a voice that sounded like New Orleans itself. When 4 the World dropped in 2020, it didn't come with a big rollout or PR campaign. It came with pain, with pressure, with hunger. It was a rapper saying, I got something to say, and I need the world to hear me, even if I gotta scream it through the static. The production wasn't polished. The hooks weren't catchy in the commercial sense, but the energy was real. From the first track to the last, 4 the World felt like you were walking through Rob's neighborhood with him. Every song had weight. Every bar felt like it came from experience, not imagination. That tape introduced the world to Rob's style, that raspy voice, the way he bends the beat without ever losing control. He wasn't rapping like anyone else out at the time. While other Southern rappers leaned into melody or trap drums, Rob was building his own sound, part bounce, part blues, all pressure. Then came Vulture and Krazy Man, both in the same year. These weren't albums in the traditional sense. They were mission statements. You could tell Rob wasn't chasing hits. He was building something brick by brick. He was telling you about betrayal, survival, loyalty, and pain, all wrapped up in 2-minute tracks that hit like uppercuts. Krazy Man especially started making waves. That project had a wild energy to it. The title alone felt like a warning, and the music backed it up. Rob sounded more aggressive, more confident. He was done proving himself. Now he was demanding space. But the real turning point came in 2021 with 4 God. 4 God wasn't just another street tape. It was the moment the street started saying, yo, Rob ain't just next. He might be now. The production stepped up. The visuals got cleaner. The delivery was sharper. Rob had figured out how to keep his message raw, but make the music sound major. Songs like Hustler's Anthem and Don't Forget started circulating past Louisiana. You'd see people in Texas, Georgia, even the Midwest running up the streams. DJs were putting his songs in late-night club sets. And just like that, Rob's buzz started turning into something real. But what made 4 God hit so hard wasn't just the sound. It was the way Rob had grown as a storyteller. His bars had more depth now, more reflection. He was rapping like someone who had seen too much, but still had more to prove. And when you listened, you believed every word. He wasn't trying to be a street rapper. He was trying to be a survivor with a mic. And in that moment, it felt like he was carrying the whole city with him. One of the standout things about Rob's early projects is how consistent they were. Every tape built on the last. He didn't abandon his sound, he just refined it. The beats got tighter, the structure improved, the storytelling matured, but the core energy, that stayed the same, and that's rare. A lot of artists start switching up as soon as they get a little buzz. They chase the charts, chase trends. But Rob stayed focused. He kept talking to the streets. He knew his lane, and he was building it slow and solid. And people noticed. Artists started watching. Producers started reaching out. Blogs that had never posted about a New Orleans rapper were suddenly covering Rob's drops. It was clear. He wasn't just bubbling. He was heating up. Another reason Rob's early buzz was so strong was because he knew how to play the visual game. His music videos weren't million-dollar productions, but they had presence. They had energy. Whether he was in the projects with his crew or walking through a corner store mid-verse, it felt authentic, and fans connected with that. It wasn't just what he rapped, it was how he moved, how he looked at the camera, how he held the mic. There was no acting, no forced bravado, just raw presence. And let's talk about the Vulture branding. From early on, Rob positioned himself not just as a rapper, but as the head of something bigger. Vulture Island became more than a song title, it became a movement, a mentality. He started using the word vulture the way other rappers use goat, not because it sounds cool, but because it fit his reality. Vultures survive. They pick up what's left and keep pushing. They're patient, relentless. That's how Rob saw himself. That's how his fans saw him too. By the time he dropped Vulture Island, the buzz was undeniable. Rob wasn't just a hot name in New Orleans. He was a name in conversations happening across the South. He had built something rare, a grassroots following, a regional anthem, and a reputation for never missing. Every drop added to the myth. Every tape expanded the story. But Rob didn't stop there. While some artists would have sat back and soaked up the buzz, Rob kept working. He kept recording, kept evolving. He knew this was just the start, and in the next phase, he was about to take things to a whole different level. The cosigns were coming, the remixes, the nationwide features. Rob wasn't just rapping for the block anymore. He was about to rap for the world, and everybody was about to hear it. Most new rappers try to blow up with a gimmick, a viral dance, a wild outfit, a petty beef just to get blog coverage. But Rob49? Nah, he built his brand the slow, old-school way, by showing up, dropping heat, and letting the streets talk for him. You don't see Rob on TikTok doing skits. You don't see him posting thirst traps or tweeting cryptic Drake-like heartbreak quotes. He's not out here begging for engagement. And that's exactly why he gets it. He's one of the few new artists who moves like he's already 10 years in. Unbothered, focused, grounded. Rob isn't chasing a wave. He is the wave. And that type of calm in today's clout-chasing industry, that's rare. There's this tightrope every real street rapper has to walk. On one side, you've got the streets, loyalty, credibility, the code. On the other side, you've got the industry, press runs, brand deals, late-night TV, and in between that, a whole lot of people waiting for you to slip. Rob's one of the few doing it right. He didn't lose his voice trying to go viral. He didn't water down the content to chase a radio hit. But he has evolved. His music is getting more polished, more strategic, but it's still him. Still raspy, still gutter, still New Orleans. Now let's talk mainstream, because Rob ain't no underground secret anymore. He's rubbing shoulders with A-listers. He's got streaming numbers in the millions. He's performing at Rolling Loud, popping up on albums next to household names. But here's what's wild. He still raps like he's got something to prove. There's no lazy verses, no mail-it-in features. Even when he's standing next to a Future or a Lil Baby, he sounds hungry, like he still remembers what it felt like recording in a closet with a sock over the mic. And you can tell the mainstream respects that. Labels love a clean-cut star, but they need someone real, someone the fans actually believe. Rob's not just believable, he's lived every bar. That makes him valuable. He's the kind of artist a label can't fake. He comes pre-verified by the streets. The funniest part? Rob doesn't even try to act industry. He still wears the same golds, same fitted caps, same hood tees. You put him in a room full of Hollywood execs and he's gonna dap everybody up like he's in the barbershop. He's not changing for the industry. The industry is changing around him. And he's not letting the fame make him soft either. You still see him in his hood, still walking around with the same energy he had before the deals. There's videos of him pulling up to block parties like he never left. That's why his fan base is loyal. They feel like they know him, because he never put on a mask to begin with. Rob also understands branding in a way most young rappers don't. Vulture Island isn't just a song, it's a lifestyle, a mindset. He's turned that phrase into a movement. You see it on shirts, in captions, on stage. Vulture Island means survival. It means resilience. It means finding a way, even when there isn't one. That branding matters, because it gives his fans something to rally behind, something to represent. And in an era where every rapper sounds the same, that kind of identity sets you apart. And let's be real, New Orleans needs someone like Rob right now. The city's been quiet in the rap game since the heyday of Lil Wayne and the Cash Money era. No Limit before that. There's been artists here and there, but no one truly carried the city on a mainstream level since Wheezy. Rob has the potential to be that next torchbearer. He's not trying to be Wayne 2.0. He's not biting old formulas. He's building his own. But the pressure of that legacy, it's on his shoulders now. And so far, he's handling it like a pro. He's avoided major beef, avoided burnout, avoided the industry traps that take out a lot of young artists. He's not overexposed, but he's everywhere. He's not begging for attention, but he's got all eyes on him. That balance is rare, and you can tell he's thinking long term. He's not making music for the moment. He's making catalog, songs that'll hit just as hard 5 years from now as they do today. That's legacy building. So what's next for Rob? More features? For sure. He's already got A-listers checking in. Don't be surprised if you see him on a Drake album or headlining his own tour soon. But beyond the industry, the real question is, can he scale without losing what makes him Rob? Because that's the challenge every real one faces when they start winning. How do you grow without selling out? How do you reach new audiences without leaving your day ones behind? If anyone can do it, it's Rob49. He's already shown he can evolve without switching up. Already proven that you don't have to scream for attention if your presence is loud enough. And if he keeps this up, he might just carry New Orleans into its next rap era. Not as a clone, not as a nostalgia act, but as a new face for a new generation. We're watching it happen in real time. This is how legends are built. Now let's wrap it up. What's your favorite Rob49 track? When did you first tap in? Were you rocking with him back in the Krazy Man days, or did Vulture Island put you on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're building a real community here, one deep dive at a time. And if you like this breakdown, hit that subscribe button. We got more in the vault. Up next, we're diving into the chaotic rise of XXX Tentacion. You don't want to miss it? Fake Famous, we out.